What the hell are we supposed to use, man? Harsh language?
Hey now.
Ahoy.
Welcome back, folks, to the Harsh Language Podcast. I'm Dan, that's Dusty. Marvin can't be with us today. Hope you all had a wonderful week. This is episode 128. We got a good one today. We're talking about Riff Raff later on. The latest with Bill Murray that he's going around and marketing up a storm for. I was excited to watch this. We got some, what else happened this week that we're talking about? We got Cinemacon, some big trailers, namely the Superman trailer. And yeah, how was your week?
Extended footage. Yeah, we still haven't got the trailer yet, I don't think.
Trailer's coming in like 2 weeks, baby.
Yeah, my week was pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah. It's starting to get hot out here, so getting ready for the summer. There's like a week or two of spring, and then it's like heat wave with fire danger, you know?
We still have winter going on here.
Yeah.
It's been freezing. Today was like a little nicer. It's just been raining and cold the last couple of days, but that's like April, you know? April showers.
Yeah, it was 77
and all that.
here today. It was nice.
Yeah. No, it was like it's 41 degrees right now. It's been like down in the 30s. It's been rough.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
Watching anything cool this week? Anything good?
Finished 1923 and started Mobland.
Which one is Mobland?
So that's oh my gosh, I can't think of his name right now. Chris? No. British dude.
Nicholas Maggio. John Travolta's in this. Oh boy.
What? No. No, the series, not the movie.
Oh.
2025.
There it is. Mobland. Oh, this
there
one.
It is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Tom Hardy. That's who I was
Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Hit Tom with the old Nicholas misname.
Pierce. Yeah, this is an interesting one. Gangster movie. It's pretty good so far. Watching it with the lady, she's liking it. But yeah, this is, I like these kind of movies.
I thought about checking it out. We might be back,
maybe let it build up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Binge it.
We complain a lot about how like there's just a lot of shit out there, like dog shit. But I feel like we're making a little bit of a comeback because I've been seeing trailers for things that are coming out. Things look real good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's, I don't know, we might be entering in like the post comic book world where like Hollywood like regulates back to like making like cool movies. And to be honest, not to jump the gun, but I thought Riff Raff was like one of those movies, a step in the right direction of like, oh wow, we're getting like real movies again.
Yeah.
But,
they'll really have to scale back.
Yeah.
If the tariffs. China blockade the film industry. So.
China. I saw. That's crazy. That'll actually cripple Disney, like primarily Disney. If that happens. I saw a trailer for a Michael Cera movie that's coming out.
It's much like the one that we already watched with the Kieran.
Yeah, I thought the same exact thing. Kieran Culkin. Yeah, it's called Sacramento.
Yeah. It's basically a very similar two guys go on a trip, except it's not. They're doing it for a different reason, I think. But not about spreading ashes or whatever. But a very similar vibe is what I.
No, they're actually spreading ashes in the trailer, which is funny enough. But the trip is more of an impromptu thing. But yeah, I saw.
Yeah, because in the other one, they're going to see like where their grandma grew up or whatever. They're just going to see the house. Where this one is like, spread the ashes.
Yeah, it looked good. I saw the trailer for it, and I'm excited for this one. And so it just seems like there's a show out now that I'm excited to watch with Michelle Williams. I don't know if you've seen the ads for this, but it's called Dying for Sex, and she plays a woman diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, and she leaves her husband of 15 years, and I guess she's trying to like explore her sexuality like before she dies or whatever. So, based on the trailer, it doesn't look like raunchy, but it looks like sort of like a, like a heartfelt sort of comedy drama type of thing.
Right.
It is actually looks really good. It only popped on
An
my radar.
adult coming of age film, if you will.
Yeah, it popped up on my radar because Rob Delaney's in it. He's a comedian I really like.
Right.
The world knows
Yeah.
him now because he was in like Deadpool and stuff, but he's
Mm-hmm.
made a name for himself on
Yeah,
Twitter over
he's
the years.
funny.
But yeah, that looks good. And so I don't know, we're just starting to get like more and more just different, like just the way things were maybe like 10, 15 years ago, like, which is nice because, you know, I get why studios want to do like fucking big budget blockbusters all the time, try to get some of that Marvel moolah, but like it's not sustainable, and obviously it's not sustainable, and it just doesn't work in the long run. So I'm glad we're starting to get like, you know, like I say,
Back to the basics.
real movies and shows again.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're still in the land of
Yeah, no, we definitely
remakes
are.
and franchise IPs.
Yeah, no, we definitely are.
But yeah, we're coming around to it. I mean, I don't know.
Speaking of,
yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Before I lose the thought, this is crazy because you know I'm a huge Stephen King fan. I literally just found out 2 days ago that the movie Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger is based on a Stephen King book that he wrote or that he published under his pseudonym Richard Bachman. Had no clue.
Oh, okay.
And I only found out because they're doing the Running Man remake that I think Edgar Wright is making.
Yeah, he's doing it with the dude from
Yeah.
Maverick that all the movies that he's.
Yes. And it's probably Glenn Powell. And it's probably going to be great because it's Edgar Wright. But when I read it, I was like, oh, the Running Man remake, which is a remake of the Arnold Schwarzenegger classic that's based on a Stephen King book. And I was like, wait, what? And I immediately called my aunt because she's like the Stephen King super fan, and I was like, did you know that Running Man was based on? She's like, yeah, of course I did. I read it like back. I was like, oh my god, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
I was
knew
shocked.
that one from my mom too.
Sorry, I cut you off. You were gonna say some shit.
Oh, I was talking about we were talking about film making a come around. I really enjoyed 1923. It's a very similar vibe to 1823. So if you didn't like that one, you may not like this one.
1883.
It's just drawn out over 1883. Yeah, it's just drawn out over 2 seasons instead of one and done.
So this was it. This is the final. They like handled it.
Well, they're gonna go. The one thing I like about these spin-offs that Taylor Sheridan is doing is like there is no plot armor for anybody. Like the Duttons are getting murdered, whereas like the original show, the only Duttons that ever actually died that I can think of is the older brother that died in the very beginning, and then John died at the end because they had to write him off because of all the bullshit that happened. But like all the other Duttons are bulletproof, basically. There's no plot armor, but in the earlier shows, like you don't know who's gonna fucking die, and they basically all fucking die.
Yeah, that's Marvin's.
You're basically like, who's gonna survive to keep the family generation going, and what are they gonna come into in the next generation? Because then I think the next one is like 1943. They're only gonna go ahead like 2 decades or so, so it'll be interesting. But
yeah, they're the Dutton Avengers.
It's good. I'm liking it. Yeah,
you know, so. That's always Marvin.
Yeah, I'm not interested. The modern day spinoffs, not really interested in. Maybe the Quad 6, but
yeah, that's always Marvin's like number one criticism is that the Dutton Avengers, and you know I get it. Yeah. It's a thing, but you know, I think his best show so far has been Mayor of Kingstown. It's the one that I just think it's genuinely I think the best show in terms of like just from like a filmmaking perspective, although. Yellowstone is those shows are like very pretty and like the cinematography is great and acting is great. Don't get me wrong, those shows are great. But I don't know, Mayor of Kingstown just kind of has it all, I think. And after 3 seasons, like I'm still genuinely interested in the story and where it's going. Whereas that fell apart very quickly in Yellowstone, I think, for me and a lot of people.
Yeah, for the reasons like we said. I mean, the plot armor is too ridiculous for everybody. That's why I like the early ones, I think, better is because there is no plot armor and you're losing everybody.
That's actually where I was going with it is that Mayor of Kingstown, I mean, this last season hit us with like a very surprising death at the finale. And it's like, you know, then the mom, spoilers, died. Like they're doing stuff that you don't, like that you wouldn't normally expect to happen, I guess, which is kind of good to see. But yeah, did you watch anything else this week? I watched a movie.
Oh, what'd you watch?
I watched a movie that got absolutely dogged on, but it was actually pretty good. I enjoyed it. I watched that movie Love Hurts with Ke Huy Quan.
Oh yeah.
Did you see it?
I watched it a while back. Yes.
I actually
first
really
came out.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, nothing like super extraordinary about it, but it's a good fun flick. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a fun action comedy that like
Mm-hmm.
does, it does like the John Wick thing, but in more of like a comedic sense. Yeah, I don't know. That's all it is. It's just a fun action movie that's also very funny. I laughed a lot during it, and I don't know why it got shit on. Marvin was really right, and I knew this, but he said it, and it like really highlighted it for me. But we're living in this like era of just hate. Like everything
Yeah.
gets shit on. Everything. It's because everybody has an opinion. Everybody has an avenue to make their opinion known, and when that's the case, it's 9 times out of 10 negative. But yeah, I don't know. If you're looking for a fun movie to watch, this is it. This is a fun little entertaining action movie that I quite enjoyed. I think people just don't like comedy anymore, really. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll have to see when Adam Sandler 2 comes out, or Happy Gilmore 2.
Adam Sandler too.
Yeah, Adam Sandler 2.
I'm excited for Happy Gilmore too. I'll probably like it no matter what because I'm a fanboy, but is what it is. But yeah,
there'll be some good scenes, I think.
I think it'll be good. He knows like what that movie means to like people in his career and like pop culture and stuff. I don't think he's gonna like, half-ass it. Yeah, so I watched that. I enjoyed it, and then
Daredevil.
Yeah, I've been keeping up with Daredevil. Daredevil. Did you watch the last episode?
Yes.
Kind of over that show, honestly.
I have not watched. There's fourth. Oh, really? You done, huh?
I mean, I'm gonna watch it, but it's like it's not really speaking to me in any significant way. I see people like really glazing it on fucking Twitter, like, "Oh my god, if we only got to see what they could have done had they had control of this season from the beginning," because like the narrative is that like there was the original writing team and whatever.
Yeah.
And these guys came in and did rewrites and they did reshoots and stuff, and the show feels disjointed, like we said. It feels like you're watching two different shows, really.
Yep. I was a little bored with this episode because it was the ball and like the revealing of everything that we already know, but it's revealed to the characters. Like
right.
Episodes like that where you already know everything and you're just seeing it revealed to other characters on screen and like plays out a little bit slow. Nothing dramatic happens. Like, oh, wow, okay, Bullseye escaped and now she killed her boyfriend. That's cool. And now they're at a dance. 3K. Cool episode.
Yeah.
Week.
Like, like again, it's I don't know. It's the disjointed nature of it that like is really bothering me. And it's like, I get it. They didn't have whatever. They're doing what they could do. People are like, the big thing was that like last week's episode with when they killed Hush. I keep saying Hush because it was like basically the Hush storyline from Batman. Yeah. They killed Muse, and people are like, "Oh my god, they wasted such a cool story arc and character." But I think they killed him because that was part of like the original storyline or whatever. And like,
well, I mean, there's more to it. Muse did some more things, but in the comics, Daredevil had.
Mm-hmm.
Daredevil had a partner, like what do you call that in the superhero? A sidekick,
yeah,
if you will, where Muse like gouges his eyes out, and
I'm just
he goes
basing it off of the show that we got. I think his death was part of that original first draft.
It absolutely is
series.
That's why he was a great character and people loved him. Is because he showed up, he was crazy, he had no real explanation, and then he was dead and gone. Like he just served a purpose to be like the Joker of sorts, and an event that happened where like Deadpool has to question like the reality of things. Like
Daredevil.
Jesus Christ, this guy's Daredevil. Yeah, sorry.
I don't know. I don't know. The show's just not everything that's going on in this season. Just kind of feels like just a waste of time, in my opinion. It's like we've seen him as Daredevil like for a total of maybe 5 minutes in 8 episodes. Mm-hmm. He is lawyering in like a bright, blown out, fucking ugly looking office because they didn't spend the money to shoot like on location. They're shooting on a set and they have to light it up that way. So that way they don't have to do the background. Basically, it's just a cheap way to do it. I hate it. I think
there's a lot of problems with it.
Yeah. I think the plot line with the police, like brandishing the Punisher logo, and like what the fallout's going to be from that, which is now obviously going to take place in season 2. I'm wondering, like,
cliffhanger.
Like, why was that even in a Daredevil? A Daredevil show that could have just been in a Punisher show. Like, it's his storyline. Why do we need to combine it with the Daredevil shit? And like, I don't know. It just doesn't feel. It just feels like it's boring. I think mostly uninteresting.
Well, the whole relationship with the therapist seems a little convenient as well. Like, he's dating one of the most high profile, successful therapists in the city.
Yeah.
And so obviously she's, taking on clients that are like Muse and Fisk and everybody else. And he's like, oh, you're dragging me back into this stuff and you don't trust Fisk. Like, how does she not know what happened with Fisk the night that everything happened? Like, if she's that high profile, it was in the fucking news. It was a big deal in the city.
She hasn't put together the fact that he's Daredevil yet. And it's just like, the whole city knows he's Daredevil except for her. And I don't know. I just find it mostly boring and uninteresting. It's not really a compelling thing. Like, I know what they're trying to do of like make Matt question his moral compass and his code and all this shit. But it's like, they're not showing that in any way because, excuse me, he hasn't really done anything. And they're trying to like compare him to Kingpin and show how like they're actually two sides of the same coin. And that's not really working out that well. And I just don't know. I don't know. I don't like it. That's it. I'm not afraid to say it. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I think everybody wanted to like it because we all love the Netflix series, but they dropped the ball with it. Maybe season 2 will be better. And I'm not blaming the writing team because whatever, they had to like pick up the broken pieces of an original draft and put it together or whatever. But I'm just not, I don't know. It's not really compelling.
Apparently it's not showing up on Nielsen ratings right now.
Is it not?
I guess not. No, it's not doing as well as they'd hoped because it's not showing up.
Yeah, I don't know if people care. That's gonna, again, the running theme of Disney Plus shows is that like nobody really fucking cares, and they're not making us care. So, gotta do it, Dusty. Gotta talk about it.
Okay.
Gotta talk about Superman and that extended look that they released. Now,
the featurette.
James Gunn, not only is he cooking, but he is a really nice man because I was ready to go fucking pay money to see Minecraft just to see this featurette that was playing before Minecraft. Because I don't know if you remember, a week prior they had announced like, hey, we're showing a sneak peek, an extended sneak peek of Superman that's going to play alongside Minecraft. And obviously it was a marketing ploy to like get people to go to the theater to see Minecraft because I don't know.
I was going to ask you if you think they specifically did that because they need Minecraft to make a little money.
I do think so, but I don't. It's a very weird. This is a very weird thing that's going on with Minecraft because
the kids love it.
It made a fuck ton of money. It opened like
have you? I mean,
well. And have you seen the clips of the theaters like erupting at certain references to game stuff? They have to like kick kids out for being too rowdy. Like there's reactions from the theater that are like when Cap fucking lifted Mjolnir in Endgame. Like thunderous applause.
It's the Minecraft movie. It beat Barbie to come Warner Brothers. We'll just go ahead and do this news piece real quick since we're talking about. We'll go back to Superman. But it beat Warner Brothers, beat Barbie to be the third biggest domestic debut of all time.
Yeah, wow.
157 million and 300 million domestically. But yeah, the chicken jockey scene is what you're talking about, where it reveals the baby zombie riding a chicken and he yells chicken jockey. And it went viral in the trailer. And so everybody is like, the young kids are filming themselves on TikTok, reacting to it in the movie theaters, causing disturbances. Cops are showing up. That's what's going on with that. But I mean, I'm not surprised about this movie because it's the best-selling video game of all time.
Right.
5th best franchise behind Mario, Tetris, Pokemon, and GTA. FIFA is the only other game on that list. Those are all 250 million sellers or more.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid, obviously, 61 million for us out there. But I'm not surprised it did so well, but I am kind of surprised it did so well.
Well, I heard it was really bad, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be popular because guess what? This is a perfect example of a movie that knows its audience.
Yeah.
And it made it for that audience. It's not trying to appeal to fucking boomers or fucking Gen Xers or even millennials. Like I could probably go see it and maybe get just enjoy it a little bit because I've played Minecraft. I love Minecraft. Millennials love Minecraft. We fucking invented that shit. Zoomers. Okay. That's our game, not yours. Anyway.
It's been out for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just saying like they made that game for a very specific target audience And that's it. And guess what? It's doing great because of it. And that's all. That's the key. Movie studios.
Yep.
That's the key to making movies.
Know your audience.
Know your
That's it.
audience and make what they want to see.
Yeah.
We don't want to see a female Silver Surfer because you need to check a box. We want to see Norrin Red. Give us Norrin Red. Okay? Anyway, I actually don't care that much about the female Silver Surfer. I'm just kind of joking, but I do also kind of care. But anyway, yeah, so
Got a female Aslan now too.
I guess Warner Brothers was like prepared for this movie to not do well. They were prepared for it to bomb because I think the Superman reveal was like meant to be like a little bit of like a, hey, come see this movie and we'll give you a little treat. Give you a little treat ski.
Yep.
But very quickly, I'm assuming they were like, this is going to leak in 2 seconds anyway, so let's just show it in HD. And they released it like the next day. And my, is it something?
Yeah, I was not going to watch it if it was not in HD.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't really read the news of Cinemacon too much, because I was like,
Right.
I don't want to listen to people explain a trailer to me that I want to experience or not experience myself.
Well, it's funny because I did read the synopsis of the extended preview before I knew they were going to release it, because they did it like 3 days after the CinemaCon thing, and I read a description of what they show, and I cried just from the description of what people watched. Okay, so it may not surprise you to know that when I did watch it, I also cried heavily.
Mm-hmm.
Just snot, tears, gasping, weeping. It fucked me up. But it has a lot of like weird. There's a lot of like weird criticisms around this movie, and I'm starting to like. It's really weird. It's not just Zack Snyder fans that are like doing it. They're gonna shit on it no matter what. But I'm seeing like other people who just seem to like not like James Gunn. There's this guy I follow on TikTok. His name is like the Cosmic Wanderer or something. He's like an older gentleman. Mm-hmm. Really, 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 really knowledgeable comic book guy. And that's what his content is. He does comic book stuff. Hates fucking James Gunn. Doesn't have a nice thing to say about him. Thinks he has cheap laughs, cheap emotion. This is not his version of Super. Blah, blah, blah. He's been shitting on this forever. And even he saw it. He's like, yeah, no, it does some things good, but I think they really, the shit with crypto was like really stupid. And just there it is. Typical James Gunn comedy. The thing that I was worried about.
Why? I don't know.
They
had a gripe I had was about the robot conversation. That felt a little dumb. Like, oh yeah, we're not reacting to anything at all. Oh my god, he looked at me. Like,
yeah, but you're one of the people that are like, that's one of the criticisms I was going to mention.
That's weird dialogue to anybody. Like, you're like, oh, we're robots. We don't have anything. We don't react to things. Don't thank me. And then, oh my gosh, he looked at me like you're what you're doing is you're putting hypocrisy into it that doesn't make any sense to somebody that's following the conversation. Like, are you reacting to it or are you making a joke? Like, what? I don't get it. So I don't. If it's explained in the movie, then fine, but don't put it in the fucking trailer. That's just weird.
I think that well, for one, that's like the joke, right? Of like, we don't have feelings, and then right away she has feelings. Maybe it's a joke that doesn't like land for people. I didn't really find a problem with it. I think
it just felt weird to me hearing it.
I think because of that, people are missing the larger scope of that conversation. And it's the fact that, like, it doesn't matter what it is, Superman will treat it with kindness. And he says, thank you. And he's like, you don't have to thank us. We don't have feelings. Right. And Superman even reacts to it. He makes a face. He's like, fuck, again with this shit. Because in the context of the movie, it's a movie about everybody around him seeing him as naive. That, like, he sees the best in people and this, that, and the other thing.
Right.
And so he probably hears this all the time of like, dude, you're being too nice. But it's like, no, you could never be too nice. And that's, I think, what the purpose of that whole sequence is that, like, he is kind.
Yeah, he embodies humility and grace.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and it doesn't matter if it's an animal or a human or a robot or whatever, he's still going to do that. And that's what I think is the most important part of that scene. But this dude on TikTok was complaining about how in the first trailer, they framed it as if that was like a heartfelt, like, emotional scene that Crypto take me home, and Crypto like drags him home, and that the full scope of the scene sort of breaks that emotional tension, and it's just more of like a joke. And I'm just sitting here like, has anybody ever owned a fucking dog? When you call a dog over,
or-
it thinks you want to play with it, and it's going to get excited
Or read
to play.
a comic book.
Right. Yeah. No, I don't know. It's like he's breaking Superman's bones. That's not realistic. It's like, yeah, you know what else isn't realistic? A fucking man from space absorbing the sun's
another
energy.
planet, yeah.
Like none of it's realistic.
The flies.
So, like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, no, I get that whole the problem is like that's a fine line to dance because you're trying to show people like, hey, there's some stuff that could maybe possibly happen in this world, but we're trying to make you believe that everything else in the world is somewhat reasonably normal.
Right.
So when you introduce things, it can conflict sometimes.
I actually have to push back against that a little bit because James Gunn has already said he's not doing that. We talked about this once before on our podcast, is that the Marvel movies, right, the MCU, they very much tried to take the comic book world and place it into our real life and make it sort of feel realistic. Yeah, there's alien invasions and stuff, but like Tony Stark making the Iron Man suit, it was all done in like a very realistic type of way, right?
Right. Well, that's arguably because of Nolan, and some people say that
Maybe.
Nolan's grounded and realistic take of Batman has ruined comic book movies for a lot of people.
And this is gonna be a departure from that. And I think James
going
Gunn,
back to the basics of comics.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I think James Gunn is very much making it a point to not place the comic books in our real life, but take us and place us in the world of comic books. That's why we're getting a super dog, and we're getting monsters and aliens that are fantastical in Metropolis, and it feels comic book. Like, I think this is going to be a interesting adjustment for audiences to make, coming from 15, almost 20 years of the MCU now to like this, where it's going to be like straight, like the Fortress of Solitude, the robots, like Crypto, it's all just ripped straight from the comic books.
Yeah.
So I love it. You love it. Ed loves it. Shout out to Ed. But I think it's going to be, for general audiences, I think it is going to be a little bit of a adjustment. And I think Marvin's going to be one of those people too, actually, because Marvin, we were hanging out in Discord a couple days ago with Owen and Maluk when the trailer came out, or the extended preview, and Marvin watched it with me, and he was like, so why does he get healed by the sun? And I was like, Marvin, because he's powered by Earth's yellow sun. And then I realized, like, Marvin doesn't have any context for it. We made him watch the 1978 Superman, but that movie doesn't even explain that.
Yeah.
Man of Steel kind of, goes into it a little bit. But now to see him with like this Kryptonian sort of like almost Leonardo da Vinci tech that's like a fucking multi-layered magnifying glass and like shooting sunbeams at him to rapidly heal and also.
It reminded me of Thor making Mjolnir.
When he gets his making Stormbreaker, but also when he got his hammer back. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
But Marvin was like sort of out of the loop. He's like, why is he healing from the sun? He's like, I don't understand. Why does the sun power him? And I'm like, that's just because his biology was evolved. Kryptonian biology was evolved under a different star. So under Earth's yellow sun, he has power, whereas under and then I told Marvin, I was like, Kryptonians aren't powerful on Krypton. He's like, what? He's like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, they're just smart. They're just smart scientists and stuff, but they're not powerful. He's only powerful under Earth's yellow sun. And then Marvin started to logic it. He's like, well, how does he have power if he goes everywhere else? I was like, well, he's like a rechargeable battery. Like he stores the sun's energy.
Well, it's not. I don't think it's just. I think it's yellow suns.
It is
because
sun, it's not just Earth.
Any yellow sun. Yeah.
Red sun weakens him. There's like the green sun that does some shit to him. I don't know, but yeah. So it was funny because I was like, oh wow, like Marvin and probably other audiences like don't really have any sort of understanding of these concepts that are basic to us comic book readers. So it's just going to be an interesting adjustment. But I think James Gunn is doing a really good job of like handling it. And I thought this extended preview was dope. I love the shit with Crypto. Like he's a playful fucking dog. And James Gunn has said he was inspired to write the script because of his dog Ozu, who he adopted, and his dog is bad. He's got like a misbehaving dog. And he said, gee, wouldn't it be funny if like the most powerful dog on Earth also misbehaved? And like, what would that look like? And so that was kind of his inspiration for Crypto. I thought the fortress looked fucking awesome. I don't know if you caught it, but when he gets dragged in, there's like the Kryptonian language on like a speaker, which is clearly Lara and Jor-El.
Yep.
I thought the robots were cool. They're straight from All-Star Superman. And then we get like, extended little, just slightly recontextualized scenes from the original trailer, which I thought was great. So I'm really excited. Yeah. I think we're going to be getting a new trailer on the 14th because it's Superman Day.
Yeah, we'll get a trailer for it. And a good old-fashioned trailer. Yeah.
James Gunn said, like, I'm working on the next trailer for you guys. I think it's probably going to come on Superman Day. It would make sense. But this was a nice little treat, and I think the movie looks great. I think it's going to be awesome. I fully am on board with the suit now. I was a little bit like, I had a little reservation because it looked baggy in the stills and stuff, but I kept saying, like, let's see it in action. I think it looks great on him. So I'm ready. My body's ready, and I got to see it on the biggest screen possible. Did you enjoy it?
Yes, I did. Like I said, I thought that dialogue was a little weird. It just felt weird to me. But other than that, it's not a complaint for me. Like the whole thing's ruined. I don't even want to see the fucking movie. It just sounded weird to me when the way it was said. But other than that, I was looking forward to it. I enjoyed it. I mean, it didn't make me think any more or less of it. It just makes me more excited to go see the whole thing.
Good. There's more context to it also in the movie, because clearly in the trailer, like later on in the trailer, you see him crying, holding one of the robots. Yeah. I'm assuming it's number 4. And so, like, I'm pretty sure that whole, like, sort of, hey, we're like emotionless automatons versus how youth feel about us is going to play a major role in the movie. So that's cool. Did you catch who voice is for, by the way? It's our boy, Alan Tudyk.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. He's also Dr. Phosphorus in Monster Squad, Creature Commandos.
Yeah. Yes.
So yeah, that was really good. Another funny criticism that I saw people tossing out there real quick was the fact that he's screaming in pain when he's healing. And it's like, I thought healing is supposed to be like calm and pleasurable. It's like, no, you jackass. They just said 2 seconds prior he has fucking a ruptured kidney and broken bones and fucking all sorts of shit, and he's rapidly healing. Like, it's cellular regeneration, like instantaneously. That's not gonna feel good. Doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah.
Like,
no.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, but yeah, it's that one didn't bother me at all. I saw people complaining about that one, and then like any type of scene where somebody is a superhero and they like get charged up, even like in Iron Man when he takes a bolt and like they charges up a suit, he's like and then he shoots it back. Like this is what I was like, wait, we're complaining about this.
But where did this also come from? This like narrative that Superman can't be hurt, because everybody's like, wow, I wonder what fucked him up. Like, Superman, aside from like maybe Spider-Man and Wolverine, gets fucked up more than like any other comic book character. Superman is always bloody and bruised and beaten down, because the whole point of his character is that he gets back up, right? So I don't know where this narrative came along that like he's OP and like can't be hurt or wounded or anything like that, because he can. So I don't know. Whatever. I'm here for it. I think James Gunn is cooking. Yeah. I'm very excited for it. This only made me more excited, and I can't fucking wait. But yeah, so there was a lot of other stuff released at Cinemacon, so let's get into some news, Dusty. Folks, Dusty was a newsman back in the day, did video game journalism, but now he gathers entertainment news for us here on the podcast. So what do you got for us this week, Dusty?
Well, besides the Superman featurette, we had some other trailers that were released because of Cinemacon. We had the Phoenician Scheme, Wes Anderson's new movie. Did you watch that one?
I didn't. I have to get around to it, but I'm excited for that movie because, I'm a big Wes Anderson guy. Can't wait to make Marvin one.
That one looks interesting. It's got all the normal people he normally hires on his projects.
We got a first-timer this time, though.
We did? Oh, yeah.
Michael Cera.
Yeah, Michael Cera. That's right.
Michael Cera, shockingly, has never been in a Wes Anderson movie. Meanwhile, he's like, he seems like cut from the Wes Anderson cloth.
Yeah.
But this movie looks good.
Okay. And we also got the Naked Gun one. I know you did see that. This is from Akiva Schaffer directing. This one looked good to me. I don't know.
I laughed.
that OJ part was hilarious. So
I laughed.
This better be filled with jokes like that. And if it is, I'm gonna love it. So
I
think Liam Neeson will do a good job. I think he's a great pick for this.
Yeah, totally. I thought it was funny that he's not playing like the Frank Drebin. He's playing like Frank Drebin's son.
Kid.
Yeah. Which I think is a really funny way to go about it. Because I thought he was just playing Frank Drebin, which would have worked just as fine, but this is just an interesting way to do it, that it's his dad. And I think it's funny that it's Liam Neeson, because Liam Neeson is like an action star.
I will find you and I will kill you meme. Like, that's him.
Yeah, he just became like this action star, but like his movies are like real bad most of the time. They're not anywhere as good as that one was. I don't even remember the name of it. Fucking Taken, yeah. So
yeah, the next two Taken movies were not near as good.
No, and like then he does all these like Taken wannabes, Retribution, fucking The Land of Saints and Sinners,
8-hour flight.
Yeah, it's just he's just got to stop. So it's just funny that they're putting him in like a parody movie. So I'm looking forward to that one.
I love it. Yes. Okay. Well, I think that's all the trailers I saw released. But one of the big things from CinemaCon, AMC CEO Adam Aron told Deadline he's made progress with 3 of the 6 major studios in agreeing to a 45-day theatrical window. We talked about this a little bit within the last few weeks about how movies are just releasing films, and when they don't good, they dump them to digital. But it looks like some of the studios are trying to get together. Disney's confirmed as one of the studios on board. Amazon MGM also adamant about longer theater windows. So we may get theater or film releases not coming to digital as fast. I know that's going to upset a lot of people, but
not me.
I think it's going to help the theater industry. But here's the problem with this whole thing is because they told everybody to stay home and they started releasing stuff on digital and they're struggling in the theater, but some movies are still doing good. They're going to have to walk this fine line of does it go straight to digital or does it go to theaters? And I think they're leaning back more towards more theatrical now, but we'll still get some straight to digital releases, I feel, because Apple is one of those that they'll put it in the studio or
I think we need to sue because this was our idea. Literally last week's episode of the podcast, I said, it was in our cold open of the podcast. I said, one way to get fucking movies back on track is to stop releasing movies right away. Let them just simmer, let them cook, and let them do their thing for a couple of weeks like movies used to do. Like,
yeah, I mean, the problem with that is, though, the information age, it's easier to say, this movie sucks. Whereas like, when you and I were going to the movies back in the day, it was more word of mouth than anything because we didn't have all these social apps. All right, well, we were talking about a little bit, but Snow White was so bad that Disney has at least temporarily shelved the Tangled live-action remake.
Yeah.
That's not to say much because The Greatest Showman helmer Michael Gracie is supposed to be directing with a script from Jennifer Caton Robinson. She did Thor: Love and Thunder. And so, those are 2 pretty good movies, but the $77 million domestically and $168 million globally, this movie's been a shit show from the start. We talked about it a little bit. Gal Gadot not being very popular right now. Rachel Zegler's comments, some of the things they did, casting full-size humans to be the dwarves and then taking that back and making them CGI characters. That there's just so much that people are like, why?
About that. I didn't even know about that.
Oh, yeah. You go watch the original trailer with the actual people and people are like, what the fuck is this? And so they switched it. That was like when they first, it was like the Sonic. Remember when they did the Sonic trailer and people were like, we're not watching this. And so they actually retooled the entire way that Sonic looked.
Yeah, but that actually worked out in their favor. Yeah.
Yeah, they did. They tried to do that with this, and it did not work out in their favor.
No.
So, but I mean, they're pausing it because of this one bad film. I don't know. Snow White, a live action. Rachel Zegler made her comments about how the movie was very creepy, the original one. So she just talks shit about the movie she's in, and this is how this is a better one. People love the original one, so I don't know, but. We got Moana coming out in July. This is one of the most watched films on Disney Plus, 735 million times according to their metrics, but we know how their metrics work. So yeah. And then Moana 2 grossed $1 billion when it was released last November and became the third highest grossing film of 2024. So I figure once, and also Lilo and Stitch comes out May 23rd. That was the second most Disney live action trailer of all time. So we got Lilo and Stitch and Moana live action both coming out. Those will probably do super well because they're not as polarizing as this shit show that was Snow White, as what we've talked about. So it'll be interesting to see if they keep Tangled shelved, but for now, it is on pause.
Okay. I mean, maybe the world is healing. Maybe they're finally seeing that, like, hey,
Baby.
We are not providing what audiences want. Let's fucking stop it. Because, I don't know. The writing's been on the wall for us and everybody else.
Well, we talked about Minecraft movie and how it's the #1 selling game of all time or whatever, not franchise. And I did mention Metal Gear Solid, but even though it had 61 million in sales as a franchise, we still aren't getting a Metal Gear Solid movie yet, Dan. But you know what we are getting?
Death Stranding.
We are getting Death Stranded. Sold a paltry 19 million, but they're going to make a movie out of it before Metal Gear. That really fucking grinds my gears, but we'll tell you about the news anyways. Sources told Deadline that Sarnowski will write and direct the live-action adaptation of Hideo Kojima's genre-defying video game Death Stranding. A24 and Kojima Productions are producing. Lars Knudsen and Ari Aster's Square Peg will also join as producer. Sarnowski is currently in post-production on Death of Robin Hood at A24, starring Hugh Jackman and Jodie Comer. He did Pig, which I don't know if you never saw that, did you?
Not yet, no.
And we did A Quiet Place Day One not too long ago.
Terrible movie.
Yeah. So I don't know. But that's just A Quiet Place. I didn't think that was a very good storyline. I never watched the original movies with what's his name? Fantastic Four guy.
Yeah, I don't
John
think...
Krasinski.
Right. Not Fantastic Four guy, but he got there. I mean, he played Reed for 8 minutes. And, yeah, I know, but it's funny that you associated him with like his smallest role yet.
Yeah.
I don't know that. I don't know. I'm not super excited about this one. I love Kojima.
Really?
Yeah, Metal Gear is my favorite game series of all time. Love Kojima. Death Stranding is a great game. I don't know if it's going to translate well to the screen. It's a very much.
I don't know if I finished the storyline. I played like 100 hours of that game and almost got to the end, but then I think I moved out here and never finished it because my roommate has a game.
Like it's very much.
Well, Sean.
I think it works because it's a video game. You know what I mean? Like you're playing it, you're delivering the packages. You are the one who's like, fuck, I want to just like get this to this place. I want to make this connection here. I want to build a bridge here for other people. Like I want to do the things. I don't know how that's going to translate to a movie, but we'll see. My second reservation is that Kojima, I think, could do it. Just direct the movie. Why do we need a Hollywood director to do it? Just do it yourself.
Yeah, that's a weird one on me too. I don't
like.
He can't. Oh, no, I guess he could. That would be his movie.
Your whole career is leading up to directing a movie. Just do it already.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking like I don't know if Konami would let him do a Metal Gear movie, but
no,
Death Stranding is his. So
yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, I don't know. But we'll see. Hopefully it's good. It's A24, so yeah, that's a positive thing. And it's a story that's
I don't know. The Death of Robin Hood will be an interesting one too. I don't know if that's going to be any good, but I'm kind of interested in seeing it.
Right.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna crossover piece. Unless you got any more news you want to look at and talk about.
Yeah, I saw one thing that I thought was interesting. Nia DaCosta, who directed The Marvels. She confirmed what we've been talking about, and a lot of people have said for years now, that The Marvels was not the movie that she intended to make. And she just says, quote, "It was interesting because there was a certain point where I was like, okay, this isn't going to be the movie that I pitched or even the first version of the movie that I shot. So I realized that this is now an experience and it's still a learning curve, and it really makes you stronger as a filmmaker in terms of your ability to navigate." And so she goes on to say they had a date and they were prepping certain things and you just have to lean into the process hardcore. She explained the way they make those films is very different to the way ideally I would make a film. And, again, this is what we talked about because, they don't have...
It's already storyboarded and half
Yeah.
of it's already CGI'd and they're like, fill it in, director.
Yeah, and it needs to be done by this date. Like, we need it by then.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is a good way of making movies. And I think anybody could agree. So hopefully Marvel, like, sort of ditches that and goes back to, like, standard filmmaking practices because, that's probably one of the reasons why their stuff has suffered as of late. And then the final piece of news that I'm surprised you didn't add, but we lost a legend this week in Val Kilmer. So rest in peace to him. He was pretty young, 65. He obviously was dealing with throat cancer for several years. But I wanted to ask, it's too bad Marvin's not here. Because Marvin has seen a couple of his roles now through our Make Marvin Watch series. We've made him watch Top Gun. We've made him watch Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. And that's probably it with Val Kilmer. Oh, he recently watched Tombstone, I think, with some friends.
Yes, he did.
He told us. So I was just curious. I wanted to ask you guys what your favorite Val Kilmer role is.
Oh, man.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'd have to pick like a top 5 almost. Like even some of his bad movies are great. Like Red Planet, I think is fucking awesome. It's just so cheesy.
I don't even know if I've seen that movie.
This one where they go to Mars, yeah. And there's algae.
Oh yeah, I actually do remember.
Tom Sizemore.
Yeah, they
Tom
take their
Sizemore,
helmet off
Dr.
and they
K.N.
realized
Moss.
they could they could breathe on Mars. I do
They
remember that movie,
manufactured,
actually.
Ghost in the Darkness. It's classic. Of course, Marvin's gonna pick Batman, but
yeah, that's his favorite.
I don't
Batman
know.
movie.
The Doors, Willow, Top Gun, Real Genius. I actually was leaning on making Real Genius the Make Marvin Watch for the next one because of news that Val Kilmer passed. But Top Secret, I don't really remember that one. That's a 7.2, and that's his first flick.
Oh wow.
So 1984.
Yeah, I don't actually remember that one myself. There's The Saint. He's been in a ton of movies. Heat, obviously. I think Heat's got to be a Make Marvin Watch soon.
Yes.
Tombstone.
Since they're remaking it.
True Romance.
True Romance is, yeah. There's just too many good ones. Like, it's got to be a top 5 for me.
I know what my favorite role is. He also Moses, who forgot, which we talked about, the Prince of Egypt recently. I brought that up. My favorite role of his has got to be Gay Perry from Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yeah.
I think it's one of my favorite movies of all time, but also his delivery and his comedic timing and his wit and sarcasm is just unbeatable in that movie, and I will forever love that role. Gay Perry's the legend, the GOAT.
I totally forgot he was Kit in the 2000s as well.
Kit?
Fucking Knight Rider.
I didn't even know that. Damn.
Yeah, 2008 to 2009, 18 episodes. He's the uncredited voice of Kit in Knight Rider.
All right. Well, gun to head. Give me a role. Pick one.
I'm gonna say Real Genius.
Okay.
Because that's what, like, I mean, I don't really remember Top Secret, but Real Genius, I could watch that movie.
Yeah, it's a great one.
Over and over and over. It's great.
That is a great one. All right. Well, that's all the stuff that I took note of this week. So, what's your last piece of news?
Okay. Bill Murray apparently had to defend himself and complained he's not an asshole.
No,
Dan,
I know.
The legend of Bill Murray he's infamous. Okay,
he is infamous.
He reflected on the inappropriate conduct scandal that he was involved in on the set of Aziz Ansari's unfinished film Being Mortal during COVID. Apparently, he was on the set and he said he had done this before, but I'll just read his quote. I don't go too many days or weeks without thinking about what happened in Being Mortal. I certainly thought it was light. I thought it was funny. To me, it's still funny. The idea that you could give someone a kiss with a mask on, it's still stupid.
What did he
so
even
basically
do?
What happened was they were stuck in this room because they were filming during COVID,
Right.
but they were all wearing masks. Okay. And as a joke, this is a person that he had spent long days with, had gone to lunch with, what he considered a friend. As a joke, kissed them on the face. They had a mask on. He had a mask on. We're talking about COVID masks, not just like movie masks. So he kissed somebody on the mouth. They both had masks on. So it was like a mask to mask kiss. And apparently they did not appreciate that at all. They went to HR and he went on about how Disney's HR is a little more strident than most places. And there were all kinds of pre-existing conditions and it had to go into arbitration or moderation or something like that. Yeah, he goes on to say, when someone has an episode like mine on Being Immortal, the world goes searching for more proof that this person is a monster, an absolute monster. Well, I've had interactions with hundreds of thousands of people over 40, 50 years. Now you can come up with a half dozen. If you worked really hard, you probably come up with a dozen bad ones. Most people I have an okay experience with. Some people you have a spectacular experience with, but my percentages are no different than yours, saying, I'm not an asshole. Go fucking dig up all my interactions. This was a one-off. I thought it was funny. I thought it was lighthearted. I thought I knew this person. They obviously took it away. I didn't think they would, and I apologize. But the whole shit show that stirred up from it, everybody thinks he's an asshole now. So he had to defend himself. The guy that just shows up at random people's parties, a celebrity, an icon, infamous, will just show up at somebody's house and be like, "Hey guys, you want a party?" Like, he's a notorious fun guy. Yep. And he has to defend himself. So I just thought that was funny. But he is kind of an asshole in this next movie we're about to talk about. So that's all the news I have.
All right, Dusty, thanks for the news once again. Let's get into today's review. Like Bigfoot, it's a rare occasion that Bill Murray goes around actually marketing a movie that he's in.
Yes.
So when I saw him doing the rounds on like Joe Rogan, Hot Ones, a lot of major shows. In fact, I just got an alert today that he's the guest on this newest season of Henrik Lundqvist's podcast, the former New York Rangers goalie. Him and Pete Davidson are on there. I had to see the movie he was going around and raving about because it takes a lot to get him out of his little his shell. So we're talking about Riff Raff, and he had a lot of praise for it, but the reviews don't quite match up with what he had to say. So let's take a look and see for ourselves if Riff Raff lives up to the hype that Bill Murray gave it on all his podcast appearances, because he was hyping the shit out of it. He was like, this is a really special movie. This is going to be an all-timer, yada, yada, yada. They must have paid him a fuck ton of money to go around promoting the movie, because that, coupled with the trailer, really leads you to believe that he and Pete Davidson are the leads of the movie, and they really aren't. They're in like a couple of scenes. They're mainly side characters, and the central focus of this movie is on this dysfunctional, mismatched family, which isn't a criticism, by the way, just an observation. Bill Murray and Pete Davidson are not the leads in this movie. This was directed.
They're the antagonists.
They're the antagonists. Yep. This was written by John Polono and directed by Dito Montiel. I don't know if I pronounced either of those correctly, so I apologize if I did not. But goddamn, what an all-star cast. We got Jennifer Coolidge, Ed Harris, Gabrielle Union, Lewis Pullman, Pete Davidson, Bill Murray, PJ Byrne, who's like in a lot of comedy stuff, and then we got a list of some other lesser-known actors. Miles J. Harvey is probably the real star of the movie, and Emanuela Pastaccini. Also definitely didn't pronounce that right. And Michelangelo Covino. So basically Ed Harris, he plays a retired, I guess, probably like mafia hitman type of guy.
Yep.
And he's carved out a nice little life for himself. He married Gabrielle Union, who's like much, much younger than her. And he's a stepfather to her son, DJ, who's played by Miles J. Harvey. And they are at their, they're like up in the middle of nowhere somewhere, up north, they just say. Where's it? Was it Rhode Island? No, not Rhode Island. I don't know where they said it was. They just keep saying up north. Yeah. And they're up there for New Year's. And one day, his real son, played by Lewis Pullman, Rocco, and his pregnant girlfriend, Marina, show up with a passed out Ruth, which is Jennifer Coolidge, and sort of some chaos ensues over the course of a couple of days, and they're trying to kind of figure out what's going on. It seems like Rocco, his son, gets himself into some trouble from time to time and tends to come around when he is in such trouble. And this is one of those times. Turns out, real quick, he got into a little spat with Bill Murray's son. So Bill Murray is also a hitman. He's named Hannigan. Lonnie is Pete Davidson, his sidekick. And Johnny is Bill Murray's son, and he's sort of a fucking hothead, sort of crazy guy. And Rocco is dating his former girlfriend, gets her pregnant, pisses him off because he broke up with her because he couldn't have kids. A fight breaks out at a restaurant one day, and Rocco has to unfortunately kill Johnny, and now Bill Murray's character is out for revenge, and that's basically the plot of the movie. Very simple plot, but I really enjoyed it. What'd you think?
Oh yeah, I thought it was brilliant. I thought the explanation in the end, because you really don't understand why it happens, and then he sits down and talks to his dad about it, and the ignorance that Bill's character portrays.
Yes.
Like it's brilliant. Like it's like that's how people are like in the real world. You say something on Twitter and you get 100 replies of people not knowing what the fuck they're talking about.
Oh yeah, people
saying ridiculous shit.
People speak with such absolute authority and certainty on things that they have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. It's real bizarre.
So I mean, it's a really sad story. This story that we're talking about, because he's like, I can't have kids. I don't have the sperm count or whatever it is. And he's like, well, you can't get in a hard on, or what are you gay? What's going on here? You couldn't get a girl pregnant. Well, you get out of my house. Like,
yeah,
the way that the whole scene played out was brilliant. And, you don't leave it there. You kind of, you're wondering what happened. But leading all up to it is all good too. They do tell you where they are because they had to stop there and ask for a map. And then they look at the map and he's like, I can't remember. It's like Lortham or Lochthar, or there's some weird fucking name of the town they're in the middle of nowhere. But them getting there, Lonnie and Lenny, is that, I forget their names.
Lonnie and Hannigan.
Oh, okay.
Bill Murray's character.
But it was something else. He had a nickname. It was like Lonnie and Lanny, or Lonnie and they had their names kind of rhymed and started with the same letter. But anyway, it not matter. I love this movie. Pete Davidson's character, I think Pete's a psychopath in real life, so he played this amazingly.
I don't think he's a psychopath. He's just sort of like a crazy. He's just like a fun guy, I think.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't think he's.
No, I know he gets himself into. No, he gets himself into a lot of. I guess
he just has that. Well, fuck it. Who cares? Well, I'll do it.
Yeah.
He's a carefree, crazy attitude.
So,
but there was so much. Just the scenes. Like, this is one of those slow burn. You're not going to get a lot of the story. You're just seeing what's happened to the characters, but it's fascinating.
Yeah, I love this movie. Honestly, I thought it was great. Very pleasantly surprised. I saw the reviews. I cannot for the life of me understand why this movie is getting shit on the way it is. It's got a 5.7 on IMDb, 59% rotten critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, 58% bad on the audience score. I'm genuinely unsure of what people didn't like in this movie. I thought it was acted well, like from everybody, but it was like I thought it was a really funny movie. Like, I laughed quite a bit.
Absolutely.
And I thought it was like a really warm and like sort of like nice movie about a family, but like with this like weird little twist to it.
Well, and it's the hook of it is like you get this opening scene where Ed is looking at DJ and he's like, go ahead, son, pull the trigger. And like, oh, and then they fucking flash away from it.
Yeah.
And then they gave you this twist of like, this is actual son. And so you're like, okay, well, what the fuck transpired? Because I didn't know that was his son until after that scene. So you're like, okay, so this is his son. And something's gonna have, like, he's gonna piss his son off or something, or you're just left guessing like what's gonna happen. So it's just, I thought it was brilliantly written and like you said, acted. So
yeah.
I don't know. I think we're going to give this a really good score and it's going to become a cult classic and we'll be vindicated later on down the road. And all the people that gave it crappy scores will
we might
feel
be
like idiots. That's what I feel is going on here.
The bulk of the story is about the family, which is Ed Harris, Jennifer Coolidge, his ex-wife, Gabrielle Union, his current wife, her son, DJ, and then Lewis Pullman and his girlfriend, pregnant girlfriend, and like their sort of like past and present like interactions. Jennifer Coolidge is like the drunk sort of mom who like loved Vincent, who's Ed Harris's character, but like they're not together anymore, and she's kind of still got like a chip on her shoulder about it. Ed Harris put his old life aside, family included, it seems, because he's a little bit estranged from Rocco and Ruth, and he's kind of started over. DJ is like his stepson and is like very smart, gonna go to college and like he's really into science and stuff. And Sandy's like his wife, who's sort of enamored by him for some reason, even though he's like much older than her. And it was just really fun to see these two families like interacting as one. And like I thought it was really cool to see Rocco interact with DJ. Like there's that moment where he like yells at him in the car and says, if I wanted your opinion, I'd smack it out of you. But then he like apologizes, and like there's mostly him being a big brother to DJ, who's his like, it's his stepbrother, but like it's his little brother, and he's treating him that way. And like these are all like nice people, like they're involved in crime or whatever.
And Ed Harris trying to do the right, like he admittedly had a tumultuous relationship with his son, and so he's trying to redo it and do it right. Except he's doing it with DJ. So that's I mean, and I can relate to this wholeheartedly because I grew up in a divorced family. So
I did too.
That stuff hits.
He says at the end of the movie, Ed Harris, when like some of the shit comes out, the big reveal, he says like, I'm a good man. Like he screams it. And it's like, you know, it just brings up questions of like redemption and like forgiveness and like how those themes not just apply to like all people, like, cause you know, it's like a philosophical thing. Are we worthy of forgiveness? Is that something that we should dish out? And like, but specifically in a family, like, and the kid DJ, he narrates some of the movie, and at the end he talks about like he talks about family even though we're not blood, and like those relationships in a like there's nothing like your family. There's nobody closer to you. Why hold a grudge? You can't like carry all this like anger and hatred and stuff from the past because it's your fucking family. So I don't know. I just thought they did a really good job with it, and I thought those themes worked really well. I was gonna say something. Lost my train of thought. So throughout the movie, we get little bits and pieces of how this new family unit came together between Ed Harris and Sandy, his current wife, and she was dating a guy, Lawrence, I think was his name. And you get that's DJ's biological dad, and you get little bits and pieces that DJ never met his dad. He got into a car accident and died. And this was genuinely like a twist that I didn't see coming somehow, because I was more focused on like the other part of it. But it turns out that Ed Harris, in an attempt to scare Sandy's boyfriend because he was cheating on her and stuff, he punched him and he fell over and hit his head on like a desk or something and ended up dying. So he covered it up, and that's how he ended up with Sandy. He actually killed her then boyfriend or whatever, and DJ's biological dad. And it's like a big twist in the movie, and Sandy gets pissed off and she like threatens to kill him and whatever, and it turns out Jennifer Coolidge shoots him in the neck but doesn't kill him. And it was just like a weird scene at first, but the more I thought about it, I was like, no, this is just like a fun stylized way to show about like letting go of like that past anger and trauma that I just talked about, right? Like, you know, in a normal real life situation, you would talk it out and like bury the hatchet and put those things behind you. In the movie, she shoots him in the neck because they're a crime family. Like, that's just
but I took it that a little bit differently too as well. I took that as a if I can't have him, nobody can, because in the seconds preceding the gunshot, she said I was his or he was, because they're all talking about who was the love that changed their life. Yeah. And she's like, you know, he was mine or I was his. Mm-hmm. And it gave me that of if I can't have him, nobody can. And I'm going to shoot this motherfucker and kill him. is how I took that.
I thought that at first, but then when at the end they're sitting around the table together and they've like accepted each other as like we're a family despite being disjointed and
Sure.
stuff. So it just seemed to like in retrospect it was just like a sort of closure type of thing maybe, but
Yeah. Well, I think she may have tried and then realized she made a mistake and is glad that he wasn't dead because
Maybe.
she still gets to be around him. So
yeah, that might
yeah,
be
but
true.
I get what but I mean, either way, whichever way you want to take that scene, it was a great scene.
Yeah. The other major part of the story is that, Lewis Pullman's character is dating Marina, and she was the ex of Johnny, who is the hot-headed hitman's son. And we get a reveal. Now, the movie builds up, doesn't do like the best job of hiding the fact that Rocco killed Bill Murray's son. You kind of like figure that out pretty quickly. But you don't really understand the exact circumstances of it until the end of the movie where they reveal it. Bill Murray reveals it. You touched on it a little bit earlier. And it turns out that you think Johnny is like this, he's got a lot of different women, and Marina mentions it like, oh, Johnny and his women, like he's got a lot of them. He mentions it. Rocco goes to him at one point, and when he's considering dating Marina, he's like, hey, do I have your blessing? Johnny gives him his blessing and kind of makes like a snide comment and is like, I'm messing with another chick right now on the side. Don't worry about it. Like, you got my blessing.
Yeah.
But what really happened, as revealed by Bill Murray, is that Marina wanted to have a baby. Johnny wanted to have a baby, but he was infertile. So he goes to his dad, Bill Murray, and says, Dad, I don't know what to do. Like, I love this girl, but I can't have a kid. And Bill Murray, as an older man from an older time, in the mafia of like this world of tough guys where like, it's not just an Italian thing, but I could relate to it as an Italian person. It's like, this is my legacy, like my son, my name, like it needs to go on and carry on. And Bill Murray takes offense to the fact that his son can't provide that. He can't extend the family name by having a son of his own. So
even if he misconstrues about how it's not happening.
I don't think it's him misconstruing it. I think it's him just like not even being capable of like understanding it, because again, you talk to an older person like that, they don't know about infertility and like the complicated nature of that. They just see it as simplistic as he did, of like, what, you can't get a hard on? It's like, no, Dad, I get hard as a rock, but I just my sperm, it doesn't work. So what are you, gay? You're gonna start sucking dick now? It's like, no, Dad, that's not how it works. Like it was just a funny but like also
it was brilliant,
kind of realistic, I think, conversation, because just older men from this specific lifestyle, like I don't think they just can't even like wrap their head around it. And of course, this breaks Johnny's heart. He kicks him out. You can't give me a grandson. You're not gonna. My family's name is gonna die with you. Get out of my house. Well, that sort of sets Johnny off, and he gets into that little spat at the restaurant with Rocco and Marina, where Rocco has no choice but to kill him because he's pointing a gun at her stomach and he's gonna kill her. And I thought that was a really good reveal too. It's not just like, it was just a good, I feel like, simple little explanation. Like it didn't have to be some like big overblown like crime thing. It was just like, no, I'm defending my unborn baby and the girl I love. Like, you're threatening her, and I'm gonna do what I got to do to fucking get rid of you, basically.
I thought what was brilliant about this film was how we talk about movies like this at all where not really any of the characters are likable.
Yeah.
I mean, you could argue DJ was, because he was the one person who was supposed to have it better off than everybody else because of what happened before him. But you're not really supposed to like any of these characters really, but you feel empathy for every one of them at some point in the movie just because of the way life is.
Yeah. I don't agree that you don't like them. I think it's more of the fact that like, they're not likable because of, they're crime and selfish and this, that, and the other thing. But I think what they all were depicted so well by the acting and the writing is that you see the possibility of their redemption. And so you're rooting for them despite kind of not like, I guess, liking them. You know what I mean?
But like Johnny's character, like he's basically a dick through the whole movie. You kind of
Yeah, but then
come
once
off,
that
like,
then once that reveal
when
happens,
he has that conversation with Bill, yeah, you're like, oh my God, that's terrible. Like, I feel bad for this guy.
and you understand
And
why he
then,
might be a dick.
yeah,
You know, I framed him as being a hothead, but like, is he though, or was he just in the context that we saw him in? You know what I mean?
right.
So,
Yeah.
like, each person has like a reason that they are kind of the way they are. The only person I didn't really get that with, and I wish was a little bit more fleshed out, was Pete Davidson's character Lonnie. He was kind of just the sidekick, and at the end, he's like, "Everybody thinks I'm slow, but I'm not." And like, that was kind of just it just felt like a little bit of a throwaway line because like they didn't know what to do with him a little bit. But I still
like,
liked him overall, but I wish he was a little bit more fleshed out as like a human being.
the monologue about how, oh, can I take my time with him because he was really nice to me one time,
Yeah.
and then it came out that this wasn't, so I want to take my time with him. Like,
Yeah.
okay, buddy.
No, that was funny. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this movie. Genuinely shocking
Yes.
that it's got such bad reviews. I cannot understand why. There really wasn't a bad thing about this movie that I thought. Like, I thought maybe the ending was a little bit awkward at first, but the more I thought about it, I was like, no, this makes sense in the context of the movie. It's not meant to be like dead serious. It's a comedy. It's like a dark comedy.
Yep.
The the scene with Bill Murray and Pete Davidson when they go to the little convenience store was so fucking funny, where Bill Murray's like, watch what you eat, your stomach, you can't handle it, why don't you have an apple or something.
Yeah.
Very funny dialogue. What else is there?
Yeah, this
else?
had it had a little bit of a history of violence feel to it, but
yeah, a little bit. Like,
there's
you know,
hiding your past, trying to live a new life, but also kind of being the person you are and running into people you are.
yeah.
But I also like Arkansas. I don't know if you've ever seen that one. That's a really good like drug movie about
I don't think I have.
about the Dixie Mafia down there in the South. It's a slow burn like this. Pretty good cast as well. But it had a couple of feels like that to it. So I love movies like this. And it was just thoroughly enjoyable. So
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I wasn't like I think again the trailer's maybe a little bit misleading, but like, so what? If Bill Murray, if like, Bill Murray's your guy, like he's the guy. If you want people to come see your fucking movie in a time where people are not seeing movies that often, you got to lean on you need your heavy hitter, right? Like, people are way more likely to come out and see a Bill Murray movie than a fucking movie with like Ed Harris and Louis Pullman. Not that they're not good actors, but like Bill Murray's a seat filler. You know what I mean?
yeah. I probably say Ed Harris is too, or he was at one point. But
it's not that he's not, but he's not Bill Murray status. You know what I mean?
sure, yeah.
And
Yeah,
so,
well, I mean, nobody really is.
yeah, I'm just defending that the trailer, because when I watched the trailer, I was like, oh, it was a Bill Murray and Pete Davidson movie. Like, that's what I thought. But that's not what it is. But again, as I said in the beginning, not a criticism. It was a very smart, very funny, and surprisingly heartfelt story about a family. And maybe I and maybe you relate to it a little bit more. I don't know what your family dynamic was, but I certainly have a pretty strange, I say strange because in relation to other people that I know who come from divorced families. My parents got divorced when I was in kindergarten. My mom remarried my now stepdad, and they had my sister, and my dad is still my biological dad. He's very close with my mom still. He comes over my house literally almost every night for dinner, and I still live at home with my mom and my stepdad. But like, my dad comes over nearly every single night, has dinner with us. He gets along with my stepdad. They're like, they're not like, they don't like hang out, but they're friends. You know what I mean?
Cordial, sure.
No, it's more than cordial. They're homies. Like, it's not that big of a deal that like he was with my mom prior. It's just, my dad is very close with my sister, almost like it's his own daughter. And so it's just like a weird, similar dynamic. It's like, yeah, we're two separate sort of families, but like we're one. And so maybe I resonated with it a little bit more than some other people out there who watched it. But most divorced families are not like that. It's like they never talk after they get divorced. Sometimes you never see each other or whatever. It's like trust me, as somebody who grew up with it, it's much nicer when everybody gets along and is still almost one. Like divorce doesn't mean you have to like completely disappear from a person's life. It just means that we just aren't meant to be together. That's it, you know? So yeah. I thought this movie portrayed that stuff really, really well. Was there anything else you wanted to touch on?
No, not really. I think we covered it all, really. It was a great movie.
Yeah, very, very good. I loved it. I can't really think of anything wrong with it. It has a 5.7 on IMDb. This might be the biggest bump ever just based on the score on IMDb, but I'm going to give this an 8.
I will too.
Wow.
Yeah,
big.
An 8.
That's big. That's your perfect.
That's what I said. I think this is no, 9's my perfect.
Oh, okay. It's only not getting a perfect score for me because I think Pete Davidson's character was slightly underdeveloped.
Yeah, and I don't know about like the rewatchability. I'll enjoy rewatching this from time to time, but it's not like, oh man, it's on. I really want to watch it, right? I really need to watch this again. Because there are some movies like Beverly Hills Cop, I could watch that 3 times in one day and I would not be bothered by it. Where this one, you know, I'll be happy to get back to it at some point, but I'm not like chomping at the bit to rewatch it.
It doesn't have like those like one-liners that you'll remember forever or anything like that.
Correct.
Despite it being funny. But yeah, I feel similarly. I really, really liked it. I don't know how often I'll revisit it. I will eventually probably, but I definitely really, really liked it. And yeah.
Definitely a recommend though, for sure.
100%. Folks, if you haven't seen this, or maybe you haven't even heard of it, but go check it out for sure. I get the marketing worked because the only reason I had heard about it is because Bill Murray was on Joe Rogan and fucking every other podcast under the sun. Yeah. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, highly recommended from us. Go check it out. Come back when you do watch it and let us know what you thought about it. If you have seen it, leave a comment down below. We'd love to hear your thoughts on it as well. But that's going to do it for us here today. Remember, folks, we do this once a week or as close to it as we can. Next week, what are we watching next week, Dusty? Let me check.
Make Marvin watch.
No. Next week is One of Them Days. Make Marvin watches after.
Oh, One of Them Days. That's right. Well, yeah. The Keke Palmer movie.
Yeah. So that's what we're watching next week. I mentioned it earlier in the show. Our Discord is linked down in the description. We share movie news and trailers and stuff that maybe you don't want to keep track of yourself. So Discord is a nice place to, get updates on shit like that and join in on the conversations that we have. But also we post our schedule. So if you want to watch along with us each week and know what we're talking about, the Discord link is down in the description. If you have not done so already, consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. If you're listening over on Spotify or Apple, you could follow the show on there and leave a rating. It helps us out. Leave a like on the video. Do all the things that everybody on the internet begs you to do. It really helps out. And we will catch you next week. Thanks for watching and listening.
Hasta.